Hey, this is Elvis, product marketing manager at Gong, here to give you sort of a quick walkthrough on how I use Gong as a product marketing manager and some quick tips to get you started. If you're not familiar with Gong, think of Gong as like an analytics platform that allows product marketers to essentially search all of their customer interactions to find insights. And when I say interactions, I mean video calls, phone calls, email, and even face-to-face meetings that were captured with some digital recorder. Gong then uses AI to understand what's being said in those conversations, from creating a transcription to using modeling to identify important themes and topics discussed in the conversation, and even recognize patterns and proactively notify you if certain things occur on a call. And all of those things are packaged into insights that you can see, which help you act more strategically and get more intelligence to help you drive your business forward. But what does that mean tactically? Gong adds value to several PMM functions, whether it's just starting with basic research around the important topics that are critical to you in PMM, pricing and packaging, product feedback, competitive intelligence, to things like messaging inspiration, content mining, campaign ideation, and even running testing with different people and different personas for different messages. And finally, go-to-market and enablement, whether you're looking for intel for competitive battle cards, whether you're looking for content to help you with a sales training or identify issues that need to be enabled on, or even collect reactions to product launches and to test messaging compliance. There are so many use cases that Gong can help you with. And I think it's really easy to sort of get lost in all of the various things you can do. So what I'll do next is share with you sort of my quick recipe for getting started with Gong. Everything starts with finding relevant conversations and customer interactions. So Gong is going to allow you to sort of take all of the call and interaction data that your company collects and cut through the noise in order to help you answer specific questions. So I'll show you some of the ways that we do that. Gong will then help you bookmark that information so that you can find it later, and you can package it so that finally you can distribute and share that information to go from research to action. Let's hop into Gong, and I'll show you how I do this on a daily basis. So here we are in Gong. This is your homepage. Usually, as a product marketer, I'll get a question from sales or I'll be doing some research. So I'll start here on the calls page. So the calls page is essentially a big search engine for all of your customer calls. And it allows you to find information like really, really quickly. So let's just say, as a product marketer, I'm interested in how a competitor has been messaging to our prospects in the field. It's as easy as just typing in your competitor's name and hitting enter. And you now see a subset of all of the calls in your organization where that competitor was mentioned. You'll get a trend over time. You can see the raw number, or you can see the percentage of mentions. This like high level graph is really great because it tells you like, are competitive mentions going up? Are competitive mentions going down? So like at first glance, you can understand like, oh, like, is this a competitor that needs my attention right now? Or is this competitor maybe falling off or going down a different path? As you scroll down, you'll see that Gong shows you the moment in the call where that competitor was mentioned. So purple means that somebody at Gong mentioned the competitor, and this pink means that the prospect did. But let's say I'm just interested in hearing how prospects are mentioning this competitor. So it's really easy just to go in and sort of narrow down immediately what you want to see. So here we just have mentions by our prospect or customer of that competitive name, and we can kind of scroll through and see what kind of information we get. So like, here we go, like this is sort of their understanding, like, everything's great. This product's not a comparison per se to the competitor. but would be curious to see if somebody brings it up. Um, really interesting stuff, really easy for you to just go through and see at a glance what those conversations are like without having to listen to a single call. If you want to get more specific, there are a ton of filters that help you answer more specific questions. So maybe you're only interested in recent mentions. You're like, I don't care, like what the competitor was talking about last year. I just want to see what those mentions are like this quarter. Just one click, you can narrow it down there. Maybe you're interested in seeing mentions of the competitor during discovery. Like, how is the prospect talking about this early in the deal cycle versus late in the deal cycle? So you see we have stages synced from CRM here. You can answer questions like, hey, like, what did the competitive conversation sound like in deals that we lost, for instance? So you can look at that there. Oh, looks like we didn't lose any. That's good news. Let's take a look at discovery and see what that conversation looks like. So as you can see, it's really easy to jump through and slice and dice the data to find specific conversations that you would be looking for as part of a research project. And like here, let's just click through and you can get taken right to the moment of the call where that competitor is mentioned and listen to it. Maybe this is something that you want to capture. You're like, oh, like this is a really interesting mention. The prospect made a great description of what that competitive product sounds like. I think I'd like to share that with either my product manager or somebody on my sales team or the enablement team, just so that they understand how the competitor is messaging their solution today. You can share the call via link, the whole call. You can share it with people at your company. You can share it with people outside your company. You can also leave a comment. So this call, I really appreciated this mention. I made a comment just to myself. It's really easy to say, hey, okay, cool. I'm going to leave a little note. Come back and listen to this. And you can leave hashtags too, which will help you find the call later. So like competitive name, comp mentions is a hashtag that I use. And when you go back to the call screen, you can actually search for calls where you've commented. You can search for calls where you place specific hashtags, making it really easy for you to go back and find those mentions. As I showed you, like on the call screen, you can sort of slice through tens of thousands of calls very, very quickly. But I think it's super important to sort of leave reminders to yourself so that you can find that information later. One other way that you can save that information is you can add it to a library. So I really like using library folders. So like if this is a competitive call, we have a competitive folder, you can add it there. You can add the whole call. You can add a note. This is a really great description of the competitor. Or you could just add the snippet. So like say like this is a several minute call, maybe only 45 seconds are really relevant. You can just narrow it down here using the snippeting tool. Just drag and drop. Like, oh, okay, first minute, that's what you got to listen to. Bam, add it to library. It's that easy. I really like the library function. So the library function really helps you organize research. So like we have this product marketing folder. We have a bunch of subfolders where I have research organized. You can take a look through and sort of like collect different calls based on different things and then leave notes to yourself. So if you're conducting like a research exercise and you collect a bunch of calls, you can then share these libraries as part of your research and say like, here are all the interviews that we did on competitive mentions or with this specific persona. You can leave notes to help people understand what's going to happen in those calls when they click through to them. And it's just a really great way to collect those important moments from all of the calls into a package that helps you tell a better story. So those are the first two steps. We've sort of cut through the noise and found an important moment in a call. We've then made a bookmark and saved it for ourselves so we can go back to it later. Step 3 is really about like how you take that information and translate it into action with your team. So the best way to do that is to actually collaborate on the call itself. So you can make notes on the side here, public comments, helping people understand the research and dissect it. You can leave hashtags. So if you're creating a project, you can use hashtags to keep things organized, as we discussed. And you can do things like tag specific team members, which I find is really powerful. So if there's an important moment on a call, for instance, if somebody you're interviewing is talking about a product feature request and their requirements and why they want that feature, it's really great to just go ahead and tag a product manager so that they can listen to the actual voice of the customer themselves. It's probably the most powerful thing that you can do with Gong, is instead of saying, as a PMM, I did all of this research and this is what I think, you can say, hey, I'll tag you on that mention from the prospect and you can listen to it in their own words. It really helps you build credibility, and it helps sort of cut out the middleman for product marketing managers. So I know that was kind of a whistle-stop tour of a few of the features in Gong that I find super useful. So just to sort of wrap things up, Gong is going to help you as a PMM find relevant conversations, cut through the noise in all of your customer interactions to find important moments. And I showed you how to do that using the call page. Next, Gong is going to help you organize that information, create bookmarks. You can add tags, you can build libraries that help you keep track of what you find while doing that research. And finally, Gong will help you distribute and share those important moments, that research, so you can help your team move from information to action. That's Gong for PMMs really, really quickly. I'm happy to answer any questions as you have them. Please feel free to reach out.